everybody.
Hi.
Yes, this is my son Nico. He is going to help me today as we're going live to talk about, what are we talking about today? We are starting a new series on, okay, he's throwing me off. What are we talking about today? Give me just a second. Impressing your bookkeeping clients. Okay. So each month, I'm Megan Hernandez. I'm the founder of this group. Each month, I come in and do a theme for the month. And each Thursday, I try to do it each Thursday, I go live and talk about specific lessons within that theme. So this month's theme is impressing your bookkeeping clients. And today specifically, the first tip that I have for you guys is communication. Ideal communication. For example, I'm working with my son today, so I would be communicating with my clients just full transparency that my son is feeling a little under the weather. You wouldn't be able to tell because he's got extra energy, but he was feeling under the weather. So I'm working with my son today, and I would just communicate that to my clients. One thing that you need to be super, super clear on with communication is it doesn't look the same for anybody. And it's not necessarily what you prefer. Now, it's your business. Yes, you can structure rules. You can structure a certain way that you are going to, tell them that you want to mostly communicate via email, that you may set up, a monthly phone call, things like that. So you can set up rules for yourself. Yes. But what I'm talking about is the amount of communication more so, and the transparency of it. So some clients, hey Shayna, some clients prefer more details and some clients prefer less details. So one thing that you'll want to get super clear on when you're first getting started working with someone is what they prefer and also what they resonate more with in regards to, you may prefer email, but they just really understand better if it is, if they can see you. So maybe you make a compromise and you record videos for them. Yes. Hey, Amber. Hey, Scott. Thanks for tuning in. So let's see. Okay. My son's going to go outside with the sitter for a minute. So that is the trickiest thing, is just getting super clear on the best way that they want to communicate to. Because I have seen it to where, I have a client towards the beginning, and I've seen other bookkeepers do this too, where there's a client and they feel like there's not enough communication. Things aren't being explained enough to them, so they get frustrated. I've also seen it to where the client is overwhelmed because too much communication is coming through, and they end up ending the relationship because it's too much communication. So it doesn't look the same way for any two different clients. And that's something that you just need to know right out of the gate to get super clear on, first of all, what you prefer. And then, setting that rule for yourself, communicating with them what you prefer, and then finding what they like best and what helps them the best and resonates with them the best. Because something that I've found to be true, even if the client doesn't realize this, is they need to understand what you're doing for them. They need to understand the value that it provides. So when you have your initial call with them, you may communicate with them, the value, and they may get really excited, but they're not always going to remember that and keep it front of mind. So a good thing to do would be to every once in a while bring that up and to maybe say kind of a summary of what's been going on for the month or what's been going on for the week and things like that. So you're keeping what you're doing for them and the value you're providing to them kind of front of mind to them. So that's the thing. So, a lot of people say, oh, communication is key. Communication is best. That doesn't necessarily mean constant, overly communicating, right? So it really is going to look different for everyone, and you really need to just kind of nail that down. And, if you're the type of person who maybe has had trouble phrasing things a certain way or wording things a certain way, the better that you understand what you're doing and how it can help them, you'll be able to, use words that explain that better. Also, in talking with the clients and hearing the words they use to explain what you're doing, that's going to be really helpful as well. Like think about if you're working at a 9 to 5 and let's say you need to give a presentation on a project you've been working on. But let's say you're giving the presentation to the marketing department, and well, I don't know that that's really something that would happen, but let's say that you are giving some type of speech to the marketing department about a budget that they can use. You're going to have to use words that they understand. You're going to have to use words that they resonate with. So it's helpful, and they are the first ones that are going to be able to tell you what those words are. So really listen, really hear them, really understand what they're looking to get out of the communication as well, and really just kind of figure out what that should look like between the two of you. And I think I've said this in a training before, but something that one of my business coaches taught me a little while back is to ask them the question, and this is more broad, this can tell you even more than just communication, but ask the potential client the question when you're on that initial call, ask them what would need to happen over the course of us working together, this year, this 6 months from now. What would need to happen in order for you to feel like this relationship was working out? Like that you were happy with this collaboration, that you were content, that you felt, that things were going in a positive way. Like you can word it however you want. And a lot of them, surprisingly, talk about communication and how clearly stuff has been going on for them. So you don't have to sit there and like give them an intense training on how to do reimbursable expenses and how that works in the back end. You don't need to explain that to them, but you do need to explain maybe the process so they understand, like we have reimbursable expense here. When you invoice, you're going to put it in the same category so that it zeroes out, just figuring out exactly what they need. And again, it's hard for me to tell you exactly what they're going to need and exactly what they're going to want because it's going to look different for everybody. So let me know if that brings up any questions. Let me know if you have any examples of a time that this went well or a time that this went poorly. I will say it took me quite a while to really figure out that this kind of has to be customized per person. And, I am very much like I set rules and I set things in place for my business and what I want. But at the end of the day, if you want the relationship to be successful, you have to know what they want too. And you have to know what they resonate with. I have ended relationships before they've even started just because we were not on the same page in communication. Like I am not going to get on a call once a week with a client. I know a lot of people are doing that. A lot of y'all do this. A lot of people do this. I did this in the beginning, but I'm not at the point where I have the capacity to get on phone calls every single week with a client to explain things that are going on. So that's a deal breaker for both of us. And that's something that we would need to know right up front. So you may feel the same way about certain things. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Our little visitor left, so I was able to start thinking clearly. But if this is the first video that you've watched of mine, again, my name is Megan Hernandez, and I have this group, Tax Savvy Bookkeeper, and we go live. We do trainings in here. You can ask questions in the group. This is a safe space. And I put a post in here recently, and I will expand on that in the near future. But I just want you guys to know that you can ask any and every question. This group is for people that are new, people that are looking to learn. Even if you're not brand new, if you're looking to learn, I don't want you to be afraid to ask a question in here. So communication, it can be really hard, especially if, I don't know, if you've been in a situation, it may be in a full-time job or even with a client that you just couldn't quite figure out, you just couldn't quite get on the same page about it. So every time that it doesn't work well for you can teach you something more and more about how to proceed in the future. That was sporadic. Yeah, I understand, Amber. Something that's common with clients, and this is something, again, that you could communicate with at the start. Something that's common with clients is they need something right now, but then they disappear. And you're like, okay, well, I can't work on it because you disappeared. And then they come back and they're like, they need it now. And you're like, well, I haven't been able to work on it because you disappeared. I have that happen all the time, especially right now with tax season. It's like, I need my taxes done right now. Well, then a week and a half later, they finally get me the documents I need. And they're like, okay, are they ready? Can we view them? No, I haven't started on them. You just got me the stuff. So it can be difficult, and because you don't want to talk to them in a way that's going to upset them. But again, you're right. It's like an unhealthy relationship. Not everything is meant to work out. If you can't get on the same page, if you can't make the communication work, do not hurt yourself and hurt your business or hurt your work for other clients just trying to figure out how to make it work with this client, because it may not. You may just can't get on the same page. So like to have them make small commitments. Yeah, that's great, Amber. I like that. That's great. And like having check-ins, having regular check-ins to make sure things are still working too. Like not just check-ins with the work that you've done for them, but having check-ins like, hey, are you still happy? Do you still feel things are going well? I always like to kind of do a pulse check on this working relationship and make sure that everything is going good. So so that's the big one that I wanted to talk about today, is just communication and really understanding what that means for you and for them. So let me know if you've watched this. Let me know if this was helpful, and tune in next week for my second tip on really impressing your bookkeeping clients. And I guess to kind of tie that loose in, the way that this impresses the client is because you show that you care how they prefer to communicate, and that you are willing to make the relationship work no matter what, because you want to make sure that they understand and that they have a voice and that they are being heard. So that is something that a lot of people don't do in the beginning. So that's a way that you can right out of the gate impress your bookkeeping client. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Feel free to ask questions, comments, let me know how you're doing, and I will see you guys later. All right, bye-bye.